Hello, my fellow warriors of light. Welcome to our second current energy update for January 21st, 2021. What a time to be alive. That I'm going to call this current energy report. I'm going to call it Prison Planet 2021, Prison Planet Season 2021. Things happened yesterday, things didn't happen yesterday. A lot of people are taken off kilt. A lot of people feel betrayed. A lot of people feel abandoned, and nobody knows what's up and down. But during that whole time, during this whole the whole day yesterday, when most of us were in our feels, I was actually pretty okay with it all, because it's just showing me that it's all bullshit. Whether something's happening or not, it's all bullshit. All this stuff on the black mirrors that aren't real conversations where we're talking about our paths through our spiritual journey, our human muck, our when we're projecting and we're assuming, we're gossiping, and we're hoping for people to die, we're hoping for people to get arrested, we're hoping for lives to be ruined. We're hoping for revenge. We're hoping for all of these negative, low vibrational energies to occur. That's not the path of 5D. That is, once again, spiritual ego, which I just made a video on that yesterday. So what are the current energies on the planet right now? The sun's shining. Birds are chirping. I don't see Chinese troops on soil yet. So what are we to do now? Where are we supposed to go from here? Because again, we were waiting for someone to come save us. I've been saying this for months. We are Jesus Christ en masse. We are the Christ consciousness. And that is the point of this 5D, is to get us to that Christed consciousness, which is just realizing that we're all one. And they don't need any of this bullshit to live a successful, abundant, and highly experiential life that helps us grow our souls exponentially. But do you really believe that most of the world was awake enough to deserve something like we were expecting to happen yesterday? Looking at the comments, looking at what people talk about each other, look at the Facebook posts where people attack. Look how divided the world is right now. Look how divided everyone is on this bullshit. And how many people just have completely checked out and they don't pay attention to anything. What were we waiting for? Why were we waiting for that? Why are we waiting for people to give us permission to live our life? Why are we waiting for people that we elect but don't really elect because our votes haven't counted since 1871? When the U.S. Corporation Act was signed. We haven't had a country in 150 years. You can look up the U.S. Corporation Act of 1871. That's what paved the way for the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, after the Titanic was blown up to kill 3 senators that were holding the bill back, and that allowed for 1930. That allowed for us to give all that money to Germany during World War I, and then they run on the banks in 1928, started the Great Depression, and that sucked all the money out of Germany, which put them into a situation like we're seeing kind of today. And that was the rise of nationalism, the democratic socialism, was because the German people were so broke after just having their entire country destroyed during World War I that they were just tired of it. They were tired of having foreign influence, and so that's why they decided to go with the verbose Adolf Hitler in 1933. That's when they grabbed power. So in 1933 is when FDR signed the Social Security Act, which turned us all into chattel and started trading us on the London Stock Exchange, because we're just property to the U.S. corporation. And in 1933 was the rise of Hitler. Hitler, I believe they got a majority in the parliament in Germany, and then by 1938 they had invaded Poland. It's the same thing that's happening today, because the same types of people that did that shit in Germany are the same types of people doing that shit here today, but yet calling themselves democratic socialists while telling everybody else that they're Nazis. But I digress. So we start looking at all of the stuff that's happening. You start looking at the inauguration, right? You start looking at the inauguration. You see that, there was like 17 people watching it virtually. Not virtually as in the people watching the inauguration, but the people, they had a virtual inauguration. I think there was like 17 flagrants just standing around. I heard that somebody got the inauguration 7 hours earlier in Spain than what it was supposed to be released. And to be honest with you, nobody there looked like they were celebrating anything. And the military did not even stand at attention when Joe Biden was being inaugurated. So there's a lot going on that we don't see, but we're so emotional about everything. We're so freaked out about everything that we can't see the forest from the trees, and all we can see is our own lack, our own triggers, our own lack of belief in something bigger than us, lack of faith. That's all this is highlighting. It's highlighting all the gaps we still continue to have within our own selves. And that's perfectly fine. We're allowed to have gaps. We're allowed to freak out. We're allowed to go crazy. We're allowed to be human. We're allowed to be scared. We're allowed to cry. We're allowed to do all those things. But allowing this to dictate your path forward when nothing has really happened and nothing hasn't really happened, I think you're jumping to conclusions. Because now's the time for light and love. Now the time is for us to truly come together and just say no. Do you know how powerful it is to somebody to just say no? I remember I walked into an office building late last year, and they required temperature checks and masks and all that. I knew the owner of the company. And a person came at me with like that little thing, and I was like, whoa, what are you doing? They're like, I need to check your temperature. I was like, absolutely not. Like, what? People do not know how to respond to you when you just tell them flat out no. Get your boss. His boss came. Hey, buddy. Gave him a hug. No mask, no nothing. And I walked in. I know the guy was just doing his job. But in that moment, when he's told no, because something he's doing is messed up, that he hasn't even given himself the chance to even see how fucked up it is, all of a sudden you just planted a seed. Why would this guy say no? And why would he say no so directly? And why would he... This is our time. We are the warriors of light now. We always have been. But it doesn't mean we pick up our sword and shield and start hurting people. It doesn't mean we pick up our sword and shield and start actually offending people. We pick up our light and love, and we start being there for people because we know it's all bullshit anyway, and this whole thing is perfect. It's truth. Stand in your truth. Stand in your sovereignty. Be the lion. I keep saying these things because it's time. If we don't feel like we're being represented by our government, then we need to go form our own government. If we feel like we're not being heard by our legislators, then we need to go figure out a way to get in different legislators or just say no. This is what the movement's about. It's a movement. It isn't an election. It isn't a presidency, and it isn't one president. It isn't one person. It's all of us. It's called the Great Awakening for a reason, and it isn't just in this country. We are the beacons for the rest of the world because this is the last bastion of hope. If this country falls, there's nowhere else to go. Where are you going to go? New Zealand? New Zealand couldn't even use their fucking debit cards for 6 or 7 hours the other day. It's either the Great Reset or the Great Awakening. It's one of them. And to be honest with you, I'm going to continue to focus on the Great Awakening because what we focus on will become our reality. And I need all of you. We need all of each other. And getting disappointed and getting butthurt and getting crazy and doing all of that. Give yourself a day and feel it and be it and purge it because it's probably stuck in you from past trauma anyway. And then wipe your nose, put on your big boy pants, big girl pants, and get back in the fight, which the fight is just the surrender. It's the surrender into accepting that this is going to happen how it's going to happen. And the only thing we can do is hold our resonance, hold our light in such a way that it motivates other people to do the same. It plants seeds in their brains without them even understanding what's going on, because you're simply just being that light. You're being all of the growth you've made. Because if you don't feel that you've grown over the last year from what you've learned, from what you discovered, from what you rediscovered, from what you remembered, from all the people you've talked to, from the communities you've joined, if you don't feel like there has been something that has been started that is just not going to stop, then you weren't really about it. You weren't really about the spiritual path. You were about the outcome, the human outcome. Your ego wanted it. It didn't get what you wanted, and now it's not good enough, so quit. Step up or exit. This is the time. You think it was going to be easy? You think we're just going to give it to us as a silver platter? We're going to have to do anything? We just have to watch our TVs? Everything has changed. Everything is continuing to change, and the world will never be the same regardless of what goes down in the narrative. And so now is the time that we start meeting up. Now is the time we start holding events. Now is the time we start holding our own protests of love and light. Now is the time we start holding our own news shows and our own platforms, and we start creating all that we have to create it for ourselves. We need to create that city of light. It isn't going to be built for us because it doesn't make anyone money. We're waiting for people to do something when there's no ROI for them. Then that's all they care about is ROI. What's in it for me? What am I going to get in return? That's what I talk with people. If the first thing you talk to me about when we're having a business conversation is money, I know I don't want to work with you. Because I'm not saying it's wrong. That's just not what I'm about. I don't really care about the money. I care about the money to be able to do whatever I'm trying to do. But in reality, I care about the impact. I care about what it is we're actually doing, and I care about who we're actually helping and actually, pushing the world forward. Even if it's a freaking 17-person little community that they built in Georgia so that they could run their own shit. You can do that. It only takes 80,000 people to start your own state. Did you know that? You only need 80,000 people. It's in the Constitution. You only need 80,000 people to create your own state. To create your own town, all you need, I think, is you need to have at least 3 municipalities running for within a first year, and then they'll give you the opportunity to create your own town or your own neighborhood or your own community, whatever. And that's what they're doing in Georgia right now. There's so many ways to go about affecting positive change because the outcome we wanted didn't happen. But that takes a lot of fucking work. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and it's going to take a lot of effort. And we don't want to put that effort in. And that's why we're butthurt. Because we're being shown right now that it ain't going to be given to us easy when we've been on a gravy train our entire lives. We've been giving our consent to the Matrix because of that gravy train our entire lives. And now all of a sudden we're upset because it's not happening the way we want it. We sign every one of those user agreements. We sign those banking statements. We work for those companies. We buy the houses, we take the mortgages out. We've made all of those decisions. We've consented every step of the way. And now all of a sudden we're victims? Absolutely not. Time to be the player. Time to be the warrior of light. Time to be the worker of light. The way shower. That's where we're at. I'm proud of all of you, though, because I know we don't have a choice. We've been doing this work whether we wanted to or not. And I know our higher selves signed us up for that, but my human has not been enjoying this last leg, right? But you also have to understand that this is a human experience you're having. It isn't a spiritual one. The human is what's upset. The human is what is feeling betrayed. The human is what's feeling abandoned. You are not this human. You are not this human experience. You are the observer, the God fractal consciousness in charge of making sure the human has what it needs to survive. This is your vehicle. This is the human's experience. That's the paradox. We're not having the experience. We're gaining the experience because we're basically hallucinating this whole thing anyway. It's just a bunch of chemicals and pops that we pull in information from the energy field, and then we hopefully make the right decision. That's why perfection is impossible, because none of this is real. So give yourself a break. Go outside today, drink some water, eat some vegetables, maybe some fruit, pet a dog, go write a love letter to somebody, tell your mom you love them, tell your dad you're proud of them, and start being the beacon. That's the only way we're going to change, is no matter what the fuck is happening out there, we still are happy. We're still full of light. We're still full of abundance, whether we have money in our accounts or not. If you can get to this point of surrendering and letting go of all of the human drama, bullshit, matrix, illusions, then you're already in 5D. You're already in a new earth. It's already here. It's perfect. Just let it go and let it be. Super proud of all you. So if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to check me out on Telegram, you can hit me up on Telegram, Army of Energy. Links are all below. If you want to donate to my work, I'd be super, super grateful. Also, if you want to learn about Dirt, a supplement full of humic and fulvic acid that will actually help you detox all of the human drama out of your cells, you can go to drinkdirt.com/ace or hit me up in a comment, and I'll talk to you more about that. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have an even better evening, and I will talk to you all at the same time tomorrow. Take care, and goodbye.